with you.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good morning and welcome to Brekkie with the Guy Who Sews. Today is Saturday, the 12th of August. I had to look at my calendar because I can never remember what day of the week it is or what date it is. But I am here today with one of my very bestest friends. It is none other than Stephanie from Quilting with Stephanie Stitches. That is the channel name, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I mess up channel names all the time. Like, we need to keep them simple, like The Guy Who Sews or
Right.
Slayer Huts and that sort of thing there. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been a while. I was looking the other day when I put the thumbnail up. I have not had you on since mid-February, I think it is. Is that correct?
I think something like that. Yeah. And I know you were on my channel when we revealed our quilt that we did together, but besides that, yeah, you've been busy.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But it's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just all get, super busy and that sort of thing there. But it's good to catch up with some of my good mates. And, we haven't had a chance to catch up for a while. So I figured, why not do that today? And just bring all our buddies on and let them join in the fun as well. So let's see who is here with us this morning. If you are watching the replay, which a lot of my viewers do, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy it. I would love it if you leave a comment and just let us know that you stopped by, because I know who's here in the chat during the live section itself. But the afterwards, I just see views, but I'd love to know who's watching. If you are enjoying the video as well, hit that like button. It helps us out immensely as well. So, Jan Arm is here with us this morning. Good morning. Good morning to our friend Shannon. I think you know who she is. Cynthia Maria Field is here. She says, good morning from sunny Baldwin, Long Island. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you for that reminder, Cynthia. I was just talking about that. That's really cool. Linda Parsons is here. Nadine says hello, Sean and Stephanie. Kathy Hutchins, my friend Pam from the Empty Nest Crafter is here with us as well. Our good buddy Russ is here, and Russ, I think, might have some sort of functioning air conditioning again.
Oh, good. He does.
I think. I was reading things back and forth. Apparently it broke when they were installing it, but it was kind of working, so we'll have to see how that works out as well. And talking about our buddies, the third part of our party is here as well. Stephen, MC Topaz is here. Our friend Fallon is here from So Be It Quilts. Beverly Aikens and my friend Kay from the Purple Wall. So it looks like everybody's here, and Carrie's here as well. They're all having a nice vacation in Texas, apparently. And Tamika is here as well. What part of North Carolina, Tamika? Because we might be fairly close. I'm in the southeastern part of Virginia. Yeah. And Jackie M is here as well. So today we figured we would have some fun and bring along our puzzle mystery quilts. And I believe you brought your Village Green one as well, correct?
I did. I have my Tulip Village Green. So this is a large size. So that's the one I'm going to work on today. My small has yet to show up yet, but I get here eventually. So it's all good.
Yeah, and the Tulip is a fun one. That's the black and white one. I think I had my friend Chloe Morgan join me about 4 or 5 months ago, and she sewed the same colorway with me. I think she had the small though. So it's going to be fun having the Tulip one back as well. I'm going to be continuing on working on my lavender, which is
so
a series of boutiques. It's been a fun challenge. I've mentioned it a few times before, but this one's been very challenging to me because anyone that's watched my videos for a while know that I love bright, varied colors. My favorite color is rainbow, and this is all purple, which is my wife's favorite color. But some of these are very, very similar. And I've had to pull out my very, very bestest friend just about every clue. I think there might be 1 or 2 where I haven't had to pull it out yet. But yeah, I mean, I get A and B mixed up all the time because if you look, let's see, I'll get the rough. You can't really see
very close. Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah.
So I have to pay particular attention. Last time when I did the Benet colorway for So Sweet, and it was a red, green, orange, white, and blue. I mean, I pretty much had that thing memorized. It was so easy. And
yeah,
that's kind of like with Bomb Pop for Carnival. I wanted to go to something high contrast again because it just makes it easier for me.
I learned that lesson with the Piazza one because I had the Senora colorway, which was the cape. And there was 2 of the colors that it was real hard to tell them apart. Every month I was like staring at that card. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay particular attention, especially those. And I think there's a couple of Carnival. I think it's like the cotton candy. There's two. It's very, very similar from what I understand.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I'm
um,
even finding that with the one behind me here, the Sky Flyer. There was
that's,
two colors that when you looked at them on paper, the one here and the one here, they look like they're like this one's lighter and this one's darker, but actually in person they're really, really close. So yeah,
mhm.
yeah. But that's okay. I'll figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, you just got to be a little more careful. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Fallon was just asking which one you had behind you. So you just answered that for us. So thank you for that. And then Yana, which is Chalet or Sheila, I can't remember the name. I'm terrible with names and I apologize right now. Says she just cleaned her machine. Yup, now sneezing fit.
Oh
Whenever I
no.
have to clean my machines, I pull out my old cloth face masks from when we had to wear them all over the place, and I just wear those because that way it kind of helps with the sneezing fit. I think that's just we still got them laying around. Why not use them? So
Tamika said she's in Raleigh, so she'll be like right there for QuiltCon next year.
oh yeah, I hope she makes it to QuiltCon because that way I can. I'd love to stop by. I'd love to her to stop by and say hi. As well. Yeah, Raleigh's just like we'll talk about that earlier off camera that it's only like 2 hours and 45 minutes from me. So I'll be definitely going to QuiltCon and I'll just drive down and back in the day because it's doable.
Yeah.
I might not be able to see all the vendors in that day, but that might be a good thing.
Go home with more cash in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. All right. So let me see. I'm so distracted. One of these days, I'm going to come on one of these lives and actually be somewhat organized, but today's not looking good. Okay, so I am going to start with mine. That's not right. Oh, I put them.
Pull up my color guide here.
And see, I was somewhat smart, and what I did before I started, because I'm live and I'm trying to read the chat and talk to Stephanie and so all at the same time. And as a man, I'm only supposed to be able to do one thing at once. I try and make it as easy as I can, especially with the lavender, where you have to really pay attention. I clip each step together. So this is my first
idea.
Someone suggested it to me for my first one because I was so flustered. I didn't know what I was doing. All the colors were so similar. And someone said, why don't you, for next time, like put the steps together, like, lay them out somehow. And I was like, that is the most brilliant idea. And I'm so thankful that you told me. Like, I love my viewers where they give me these ideas. Like, and I'm sure you're the same way. Like,
absolutely. That's a really clever idea. I never even thought about that.
And I didn't even tell, I think it might have been either Kay or Carrie, actually, it was told me that. So, yeah, that's really, it has helped me immensely. Melissa is asking where's QuiltCon. It's going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina next February. I think it's like the 21st to 24th, somewhere around then, whatever that Thursday to Sunday is. I'm planning on running down on that Saturday because I don't get a whole lot of vacation time. So I figure I'll just go down and make a day trip. Like I'll probably need to sleep all day Sunday, but that's a future Sean problem to have. So
it's fun for a day of fun out in QuiltCon, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it'll be really fun to head down there and try and meet up with some of my viewers and some of the other content creators that I'm buddies with, including my friend Stephanie, hopefully. I think Shannon's heading down there. There's a bunch of folks. Like, I think I'm going to spend half the day like meeting and greeting with everybody. So
yeah,
I might have to turn around and go back on Sunday. Who knows? Nancy says, good morning to Sean and Steph. How are you two? I am doing well. I am busy, but and I know Stephanie is as well.
Yes, doing really good. Just really busy lately. I've got a couple retreats coming up here within the space of 5 weeks, and fairs are going on, which my daughter's putting stuff in the fair this year, so I'm super proud of her. So we've just got a lot of stuff, like a lot of things going on right now. But my husband's gonna be out of town the entirety of next week, so gonna be interesting trying to get everything ready.
Yeah, and talking about fairs, have you picked up your quilts yet from the Ohio State Fair, or is that still going on?
Nope, I did. I picked them up just the other day, and I also put my quilts this week in our local one, and I picked those up on Sunday. So Yeah.
So do you want to tell the viewers that may not know who may not have known, and if you haven't checked out Stephanie's channel, please run over and check it. It should be !Steph. I think that's what I put in. Let's see what happens if I put that in. She entered some quilts into the state fair, which I am super proud of her for, because I think this is your first time for the state fair, correct?
In the state fair. So Ohio's a little different than other states, and I think like even Sean's doesn't have this, but Ohio has 88 counties, and most of the counties, not every single one, but the majority of the counties in Ohio hold their own local fair. And then you have the Ohio State Fair, which is the big, like, granddaddy, sort of the elite thing. And last year I ribboned in our local fair, so I was able to put stuff in the state fair this year. So it was my first year in the state fair. I don't know how many of you know a lot about Ohio, but Ohio is a big Amish country area, and the Amish are known for quilting, and they do amazing, beautiful work. I feel like a baby quilter next to them.
No, for sure.
Yeah, they hand piece, they hand quilt, and their quilting is like crazy precise, like it was done on a machine. I mean, you can still tell it's hand quilted, but beautiful work. So I really never expected to get anything from the Ohio State Fair. It was just cool to see my quilts hanging next to other people's. But I actually ended up with 3 prizes. So I was really, really excited about that. But just like I said, more excited just to see them hanging up there with the other quilts that just were so beautiful. So I got those back this week. And then I put some of my quilts in my local one earlier this week. And I just found out last night what I got on them, because I did receive some awards. So really excited about that. I put a wall hanging, a large quilt, which a large is larger than 60 by 60. And then their small category is smaller than 60 by 60. But I pushed the limits on that one because I think it was like 59 by 59.
Oh, well, okay.
But I got a first place on all of them, and my small quilt actually won best of show. So.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that is super exciting news.
Yeah. So I'm really just so happy, and it was kind of cool, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so fascinating that we're like, what, 4 states apart, I mean, as the crow flies. But we're so different. Like you said earlier, you have 88 counties, and each one of those has a county fair, correct? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
For the most part. Whereas Virginia, there's a few county fairs. Like, I've Googled them, and there's like one here or there. I think there's one like 4 hours west of us, and there's really not much opportunity for me to enter into a county fair. So the state fair, like, basically it's a guild fair or guild show, or the state fair is pretty much it for me. So
Yeah.
I am super happy that I do not have to compete against the Amish ladies, because yeah, that's some next level stuff. But our state fair does have a category. It's very similar to yours. I think it's called like the blue ribbon category, and you have to have a blue ribbon from a county fair. So I mean, there's county fairs out there somewhere, but I think it's all out in the western part of the state, out, up in the mountains and where it's more rural. Like, I think like the eastern, like where I am, it's very metropolis, and then Richmond's the same way, and you go up to northern Virginia, it's the same way. But I think once you go out in the west, it's a little more, well, it's more rural, and I think that's where the fairs are. But me driving 4 hours to drop something off is not really my idea of fun. So but yeah, it's just fascinating how different it is, and that sort of thing there. So I'd love to enter some stuff in the county fair, but I just don't really have that opportunity to do so. But maybe one day.
Yeah. Well, in addition to that, we also have, there's a couple shows in Amish country here in Ohio. There's 2 different ones that I can think of right offhand that happen every year that you can also submit quilts in, which I have in the past. I've never gotten anything other than an honorable mention in one of them, because again, it's all Amish quilters. But just seeing your quilt hanging there, I think is just as fun. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I've had the opportunity to see some of the Amish quilts. We went up to the Lancaster area 5 years ago with my parents, and we went to like some shopping center. I think it was like Intercourse, Pennsylvania, or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Hmm.
And they had this one quilt shop, and it was all like you could purchase the quilts there, and it was all Amish made. And those things were absolutely stunning. And the prices for those were not as high as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
And if I had $400 or $500 I didn't need, I would have happily have bought one just to hang it up because they were beautiful. But maybe next time I go up, I can just save some money and buy a small one because, yeah, like you said, you can tell it's hand piece, but you really, unless you're a quilter, you'll never know.
Oh,
Like it's
absolutely. Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely stunning.
I bought a small one a couple of years ago. It's not even big enough to cover an adult, but I was like, I need to have one.
Oh, for
Even
sure.
even a
Yeah,
small one is several $100s. I mean, they're like a bed size one, forget it. Those are, I mean, it's definitely, if you can afford it, you should get one because it's worth the money, but they're thousands, you know.
yeah. I mean, but if you think about the amount of work it goes into it, I mean, it's
Oh
worth,
yeah.
yeah, worth every penny. Like they're
Oh,
not valued.
definitely.
They're not valued nearly as much as they should be. And
Oh no, I completely agree. I was actually talking to one of the Amish ladies last year because they um had a quilt frame set up at the one show and they were all sitting there hand quilting. And I asked her, I'm like, so exactly how long does it take you to hand quilt like a queen size quilt? And she's like, well, she goes, I can probably finish a whole quilt from piecing the top to quilting it in about a month. And I was like, floored. I'm like, it takes me sometimes a month to machine stitch that size quilt, you know?
yeah.
So
But
I
if
just in perfect stitches. I mean, yeah, the money's totally worth it if you can afford one.
yeah, and I just love how they do it and the dedication they put into it. But I think like if my understanding of the Amish is correct, and I think it might be different from what is it? Not parish to parish, but community to community. I think they could probably use a treadle machine because
It,
as long as
as
it's
long as
not
it's not
electric,
powered, yeah, as long as
yeah,
it's not powered. And some of them do, but a lot of them still hand piece. Now, it depends also if they're Amish versus Mennonite, and they're very similar. And
hmm
Mennonite are allowed to use electricity. So that's one of the main differences between them. They practice the same religion and all that, but they are allowed to drive cars. They're allowed to use electricity in their homes, things like that. So
right,
yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, they
it
could
was.
treadle, but a lot of them just hand sewed, like hand piece.
Well, I mean, that's probably what they were brought up with, like
Yeah.
when they were small, that's what they learnt with, and that's just it was fascinating learning about the Amish community. We went to a like a museum type thing where they kind of taught you about it up there in Lancaster, and that was fascinating. Just learning about the communities. So this is
Yeah.
my step. This is my step one and
Mhm.
two.
That's pretty.
I know it turned out beautifully. I'm really liking the lavender colorway. Like I think it's going to turn out beautifully when it's done. And I don't know about you, but once I get to about this point, like step six, well, not step 6 or 7, clue 7, 6 or 7, I'm ready for it to be done. Like
Yeah, me too.
I want to see the end of it. It's kind of like when I fly from Australia to the US or vice versa. Like you're in that plane for 6 or 7 hours and you're only halfway there, but you're ready for it to be done.
Yes. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way about Village Green. I'm like, can we just get the rest of the clues now and we can finish it? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but that will spoil the fun. So we just gotta.
I know. But I get excited to like see it finished.
And that might be why they stagger the things where they do, because that way, like you want to finish this one, but they get you excited about the next one. So that way,
Yeah.
it kind of distracts you a little bit as well. So
That could be. That's a very good point.
yeah, that might be something that Kim and Sheila have figured out. And if they did, good for them. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
great. And you said you are doing the carnival, right? I think you told us this earlier, but
Yeah,
you
the
would.
one on the wall behind me here, the blue, is the Carnival Sky Flyer. And then I also have the petting zoo, which is the Tula one. That one just came. So I don't know what's going on with the mail. I know it's not cotton cuts because they shipped it, but um like today we're working on Village Green and I have two for Village Green. I received the one I'm working on today, the tulip, but I've not received my small one yet, and they shipped on the same day. So something's weird with the mail, but it's all right. It'll get here eventually. But yeah, so that I ran out of bobbin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am doing carnival. I'm doing a small and a large this time, and my daughter Sarah got a small.
Yes, I saw that. That's going to be so much fun seeing how Sarah does with hers. So
yeah, she has not started yet. Well, for two reasons. A lot of stuff's been going on, and but also because I had to clear off a space to put her machine, because I have a lot of stuff sitting around for the retreats and stuff. So I had to clear off her little table so she can sew. So I think she might work on it tomorrow.
okay. Yeah,
She
you just
got the sky diver one, and it's one that had like little animals on it, like dragons and owls and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that was something Martha and I were talking about the other day, because like, someone was talking about like the sky diver and the sky flyer. Like, I know they voted for the names, but I think I would have picked two slightly different names. But that was a lot of fun doing the voting, like on the Facebook group, like being able to pick the names. That was a lot of, yeah. And hopefully it's something I'll do again in the future.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. Let's see, let's go back to the chat, because I'm always missing stuff. And if I ever miss a question or miss saying hi to somebody, I apologize. I do my best, but I do miss stuff. So it looks like Brenda Foley hopped in. My friend Ingrid is here with us. Nadine Logan is here with us as well. She said she just received her lilac fabric and now have the weekend to catch up with you. And that was an unfortunate thing. The Clue 6 for lavender, which is the colorway I'm doing, was delayed because they bought more fabric, and it was being shipped in a container across the Pacific and got delayed. So the folks doing lavender were not able to do Clue 6 because it was still sitting in, somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. But apparently it came in last week. They got it cut up, they got it shipped out. And some people are already getting their Clue 6 and 7, but you kind of get double the fun when it shows up. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise. And my thing with it is like, I'd rather it happen on Clue 6 and 7 than 10. Like, you don't want to be late to the party.
Yeah.
Like, I remember last
Clue 1. Yeah.
Well, that's how it was with my first go around with it. Is I did So Sweet in the Benet colorway, and there was a whole bag of mail. There was like 85 people. Where that bag got handed over to the post office, it got loaded into a truck, and then it went into the Twilight Zone. It's never been seen since. And so, I mean, they waited like a couple of weeks to see if it would magically show up, which I would have done too, because it's a lot of money and a lot of work to redo them all.
Yeah.
And then they decided, well, we don't think it's ever going to show up. So they've recut it and they sent it out. So we were about a month behind with Clue 1, but I figured, hey, I'd rather it be at the beginning than the end. So
yeah,
I feel the frustration and the that sort of thing there, but at least there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not the finished one. So that's good. Someone is asking how close am I to Sterling, Virginia? I think I'm about 3 to 4 hours away. Because that's up in Northern Virginia near Dulles and so forth, right? Am I thinking of the same place? I'll be up that way fairly shortly, actually, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, let's see. So Nancy said she got that. Good morning to my friend at the Quilting Compound. I cannot remember your name at the moment. I am terrible with names. I'm not afraid to admit it. Sweet Granny is here. It's good to see you as well. Tamika is asking how many blocks are in the first clue. If you're doing the small, you have 4 of the same block. And then if you have the large, it's 2 of block 1B and 4 of block 1A, if I remember correctly. Is that right, Stephanie?
That's correct. Yep.
What's behind you is, is the large.
That's the large.
Yeah. The small and the large, sometimes the blocks are different, because the small is a rectangle, which is 45 by 60, if I remember my measurements correctly. And then the large is a square, which is like like 72 by 70.
72 square. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're a little different, because I remember the designer Sheila Christensen mentioned once that it's kind of a challenge to make the two different shapes, because it's not like a miniature version of the bigger one, which yeah, that sort of thing there as well. So let's see, Tamara Guka is here with us. Good morning, everyone. My friend Rob from Quilting in the Man Cave says, good morning, Sean and World. Just woke up and trying to get my day started. Have not even had my coffee yet. I am polishing off cup number 2. So I would not be functioning very well on Saturday without. So
yes, when I was coming down here, my husband's like, do you need anything? I'm like, coffee would be good. I think he might have fallen back asleep because I haven't heard any coffee going or smelt any coffee going.
That's sad. I always get up early and brew. Like my life starts at 8 and I'm usually up at 6:30. So that way I can
that's good.
Set up my computer, because my computer that you're seeing me on right now doesn't live here. I bring it across for the live, I put it back. And I set up all the studio equipment. I make sure that the machine has bobbin thread 99 times out of 100. There has been times where I've run out and forgotten, so I will not say I'm perfect and that sort of thing there. And then I just make sure I got my instructions and my fabric and everything else cut. I usually cut everything the night before, but when you have your cotton cuts days, you don't have to worry about that step, which is really
that's the one thing I love about these, because there's no cutting.
And that's one of the reasons I do a lot of my lives is, yes, I'm an ambassador and I'm supposed to show it on my social media platforms, but it's a wonderful live thing because you don't have to worry about cutting the previous night. So, you work smarter, not harder. This is step 3, and I'm doing the small. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier as well. So Ginger says,
sorry, go ahead.
Just saying, Ginger was saying here, she said she enjoyed my sewing room tour, and well, thank you for that. That was a lot of fun. Like I actually had my sewing room cleaned up after moving it all for the floors, that I was actually able to do that. It's been something I've wanted to do for a while, but usually it's a complete and utter mess. Just, like you see those videos like on Instagram and stuff where the people do like how these people keep their kitchens and stuff clean for like food videos, and you see like all the stuff like shoved to one side off camera, and that's how it is with me sometimes too. You're probably more organized than me.
Well, I don't know about that. Somebody was mentioning last week on my channel that they could use a bigger sewing room because their stuff is a mess. And I was like, well, the reality is if you get a bigger sewing room, you just fill it with more stuff. And even though you might have more space, you still get messy.
Yeah, and that was a comment that I saw a few times on that video that I released earlier this week with the sewing room tours. Like that, the people that said, I have this larger space, said, it's so much easier to fill it. So it's like a double-edged sword. Like if you can be disciplined and have the larger space and not go to the fabric store every 20 minutes, then you're golden. But the logic's going to tell you that's not how it's going to be. So
now if I didn't have a shop, because this half over here, I have 2 halves. I'm in the basement. It's a finished basement. This half over here is kind of my half, so it's like where I sew, my stash. The other half is my long arm and all the bolts that I have for my shop. So I have all my bolt I can't even talk. The bookshelves with all my bolts on it and everything. If I didn't have all that, I would be a lot more organized. But I run out of space on those shelves for bolts. And bolts end up coming over here. So I always have stuff sitting everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
And full disclosure, like my batting and some other stuff that I don't need all the time lives in a spare bedroom. Like not everything is down here, but the vast majority of it is, and the stuff that I need all the time is here. But this also serves as my home office when I work from home. So it's kind of like a dual space. In some ways it's good because the main screen that I look at the chat on and everything else is right here in front of me. I don't have to set it up and break it up and down, and I have a second monitor to look at. But it's also like a dual space, as sometimes you have your challenges in whatever space you have, I think, and it's how you work with it and how you overcome anything is the main thing, I believe.
Yeah. My biggest problem is that I always have too many projects going. So then I end up with piles, this working pile, that working pile, that working pile. I wish I could be sometimes, and I can't because my brain, I get a little bit bored with stuff if I do the same thing over and over again. So I need at least a couple projects going, but sometimes I'm like, I wish I could do just one project at a time like some people, because then maybe I wouldn't have all these piles everywhere.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm so easy to distract, and I like doing different things. And I think it's kind of fun with my podcast, where you just don't know. It's kind of like a box of chocolates from Forrest Gump. You just don't know
That's
what you're going to
right.
get.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just like doing so many different things. Like if I couldn't be monogamous, and I think the other issue I have is I like to make quilt tops, and then I never quilt. I never
Oh,
baste them and quilt them. Like I'm terrible with that. But I don't want to send them to a long armor because I'm one of those folks that want to do it from start to finish.
yeah.
But if I
But
ever needed a long armor, I have several people to choose from too. So
yeah. But I was gonna say, even if you had your own long arm, you still, like, I still have a ton of tops that I need to quilt. So, because you just get doing other things, and there's only so many hours in the day.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this is not the only thing we do. Like, we have families, we have
Yep.
jobs. Like your long arm is also you do that for customers. So it's not like you just get to do your own stuff. So
Right, right. And well, and the main thing right now is my kids. It's summertime, so
yeah,
the older ones don't have school, so I have to keep them entertained, and the younger ones I always have to keep entertained. But our 5-year-old, he's autistic, and so he requires a little bit more care. So it's I people ask me all the time, how do you get as much as you get done? And there's weeks where I feel like I really didn't do anything, but I do so sort of fast. So that helps. But um yeah, it's I would not wish away my kids, but if I didn't have my kids, I would probably get 3 times as much done. Not that I need to, but
yeah, and I think too with that, like family always definitely comes first.
oh
But I
yeah.
think if you make use of what time you have, like if you do 30 minutes here, 15 minutes there,
Yep.
45, it all adds up. Like, yeah, you're not going to make a whole quilt top in 30 minutes, but if you
Yeah.
make use of the time you have, that goes a long way. Because people ask me how I get stuff done. I'm like you, like sometimes I'm like, I've got nothing done, but when I sit down and do my notes for my podcast, I'm like,
You really
I've
did.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I've actually done stuff. I'm like, this week I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I've done nothing. Like I really haven't done a whole lot, but I've made a quilt top. I've
Yeah.
quilted I've quilted some stuff. I'm working on this. I produced 2 videos.
Yep.
And some other fun stuff. So yeah, like the podcast is not going to be 25 seconds long and be like, I've done nothing this week. It's actually going to be fairly entertaining, hopefully, for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's where I'm at, is like, okay, I didn't feel like I got a lot of stuff done this week, but because I was gonna do a UFO video, and I was like, well, I can't because I really don't have anything I could show. But I did get a lot of stuff done this week. It's just stuff I can't show you guys. So I actually finished 2 quilt tops this week, but they're things that are in the works for the future, so I can't show anybody. So, and I got most of the stuff done for the Washington retreat that I needed to get done. So I did get a lot done. I just, you know,
yeah, and that's a challenge too as a content creator. Like if you're doing projects for the future that you can't show off yet, like
yeah,
I try not to do that. Like I do sometimes, but yeah, a lot of my stuff is like what I'm doing, you get to see.
yeah,
Because yeah, it's kind of frustrating to spend all that time behind the scenes doing something and not be able to show it off right away. So I totally get that.
yep.
Okay, Pepsi Girl 1956 says, hi Sean and Stephanie, raining here in the UK. Who has our summer? We want it back. I'll happily ship it to you. And I'm sure
Oh,
people in Texas will happily ship it to you. I think you'll have more heat very soon if we can ship it to you than you want. I mean, I'll even provide a couple of empty containers and put it on a vessel if you want.
well, I was gonna say that we got a ton of rain last night. We had about 4 inches fall in an hour and a half. So there was a lot of flooding over here. We lost a little bit of power for a while. So I hear you, the UK person, because yeah, it's like where is summer? It was cold, it was rainy.
I remember we went to a local baseball game like beginning of June, right before Daria went home. And, you know, the weatherman said it was supposed to be 72. It's supposed to be nice. You know, I go on a t-shirt and shorts.
Oh,
It's windy as heck. It's like 60 degrees. I almost froze to death. We left like halfway through the game because like I'm sitting there shivering, like, because I wasn't expecting it was the wind, like the temperature itself, like I'll run around in 50 in a t-shirt and shorts. I'm not that concerned about it. But yeah, that wind, like every time it gusts through, and you know, we're sitting on the very top row.
yeah.
Yeah, so we had no protection, and that's just the way where that, because it's right there by the river and that sort of thing there as well. So yeah, it was a mess. So I don't know if I said good morning to Martha, and I don't know if she's here this morning, but she has to go to work in a little bit. So
Good morning.
yeah, she has to work on a Saturday once in a while, unfortunately. My friend Mary Jo from Sojo Quilty Stitchy Things is here as well. She said she finally made her live. It's good to see her. She was on the channel, was it earlier this year or last year? Time flies so quickly. I can't keep it all going. So MC Topaz says, I have multiple projects going at the same time. My current project is refinishing my dining set. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, hi, Miss Topaz.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady. I mean, all my viewers are lovely. I love each and every one of you. I mean, every time you come and watch a video or hit the like button or comment, you know, that just means the world. Because when I started, I thought it might have 10 or 15, maybe 20 people watching. And right now we have 70 people watching this live. Like, who knew that if you had a live at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, that 70 people would come and, you know, show up? Like, it's amazing. Like,
oh, that's so cool. I got to meet Miss Taz at Soya's retreat last February, and she's just the nicest lady.
Yeah. I've only seen her through like chat and that sort of thing there, but yeah, she just seems super lovely, you know, and that sort of thing there as well. I'd love to ask a question in the chat, and then if you're also watching the replay, I'd love to hear your comments about this. Are you a monogamous sewer or quilter where you're only working on one, or let's say 2 projects? We'll give you a little grace. Or are you like me and Stephanie, where we have, you know, 3+? We'll just leave it at that. Like, I don't want to embarrass anybody by numbers. Like, you know, if you have 20 projects going on at once, you do you. Like, I have no problem with that at all. I've had that many going at once. I mean, I say go with wherever your creative juices let you go. So, I mean, if you want to do 10 projects at once and that makes you happy, you have my full support. But I'd love to hear in the chat, how many do you tend to do one from start to finish, or do you tend to just like, you see something shiny and you get started on it right away? Yeah, guilty as charged.
Oh yeah, guilty.
Good morning, Kathleen. It is very early for her. It's only like 5:30 in the morning. Like,
oh wow,
that amazes me. Anyone on the West Coast that watches me live has my undying admiration, because I don't know that there's anybody I would get up that early for. Now, if you have insomnia and you want us, you know, want to hang out with us for a while, that is more than cool. So
yeah, that's cool.
Mona is here from Mona Did What. If you haven't seen her channel, definitely head over and see her. Mona. She's a hoot. Like, she's a lot of fun, and her channel's just exploded. Like, I remember she hit 1,000. Yeah, like she was at 1,000 like a month or 2 ago, and she's like almost at 3,000. So yeah, she's doing excellent. Like, her lives are a lot of fun. I catch them usually during my lunch hour. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. Mary Jo has her own channel. Janice from The Right Way has her own channel. She was here with me last week. If I'm missing anybody, my friend April Sortel is here. She also has her own channel. She has 20+. So thank you, April. You've just made my day, because I'm not the only one. I don't know if I had 20. Well, if you include quilt tops, yes. So there you go. Kathleen says, oh, come on, who can resist a shiny object? See, I have friends here. Like, we have supporters, people that understand us.
That get it.
MC Topaz says, my oldest granddaughter says I'm easily distracted by shiny things. I have no problem whatsoever admitting, like, someone will send me something saying, hey, Sean, this is a lot of fun, you should do it. And I'm like, yes, I should. And then I have to try and figure out how I'm going to squeeze it into my,
you're like,
into my,
yes, I should. And I just ordered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm the
Yeah, I
same.
try and shop from stash where I can, like, and it's easier for me, I think, because I use a lot of solids. So when I see something, I can just go to my solids pile and find something. So
That's nice.
sorry, I think I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that's okay. No worries. I don't even know what I was going to say, but it's no big deal.
Okay, when it comes back, let me know. I just get excited and
Oh, no, you're fine. No, I was thinking about, I think that's what it was, about the having multiple projects. I think between all the block of the months of the projects I have going, I've got more than 10 for sure.
oh yeah,
Got several block of the month. Like,
yeah.
and those you can't make them go faster, right? You have to wait till they come. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think as a content creator, like if you could be a monogamous content creator, like that would be a challenge. Like I think you have to, I think you almost have to have the mindset of where you want to do all the shiny things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have projects lined up pretty much until the end of the year at least.
Well, I was gonna say, I know that Stephen has mentioned on his channel, so I'm gonna mention it without saying too much, but we've got a project lined up soon that there's you and me and Slay Arts and Stephen, and then I'm doing another project with Russ and Shannon and I are all gonna do something next year. So and then all the the things we just do by ourselves, and it's in these puzzle mystery quilts. Yeah, it's just like an ongoing, but it's fun. I mean, it keeps things fun and something to look forward to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if it ever stops becoming fun, I'm out.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah.
this clue is coming together super fast. All right, so I've done that section. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Pam says that's why us mums are called jugglers for sure. I feel like that at work. Like I'm always feeling like I'm one of them little dudes with the spinning plates at the circus. Like,
Yeah.
because every time I think it's going to settle down, it's like I get some email where I have to go solve a problem right away. And it's, that sort of thing there. Melissa Feldhouse says, me too. If someone posts a pattern, I just have to have it. LOL. Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. And I'm kind of getting to the point now where I have to sit there and think about it and go, do I have time for this?
Yeah.
And if it's not time sensitive, the answer is usually going to be yes. But if it's time sensitive, I really have to sit there and think about, can I add this to my plate? And usually the answer, sadly, is no.
Yeah.
And I know you have the same issue. Mona is asking, do you still have your Etsy shop?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, she was asking if you closed it. I'm guessing the answer to that is no.
No, I had to close. I closed it when I was like, when I go out of town and stuff, just because if you're out of town more than a couple of days and people order from you and you don't ship it out, then you start getting emails.
Yes.
It's a little bit of the Amazon Prime effect. People expect things to ship very quickly, which I usually do ship very quickly. I usually ship within, a couple days of orders, depending on what's going on with my life, with my kids and all that stuff. But, if you're on vacation, so I did close it the last time I was out of town, but it's definitely open. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she might have just seen it when you were away. So
Yeah.
and Stephanie has some fun stuff in the shop. I mean, that's where I bought my cute little iron last year. And I love this little thing.
Yeah.
It's starting to get a little bit of brown on it. That's okay.
Oh, just take a magic eraser when it's off and not hot. Use a magic eraser over your sink and it'll come right off that stuff.
Okay. I mean, I'm just noticing it on the camera. Like I can't really see it here, but I'll definitely use that. That's a great tip because cleaning your iron is never fun.
No, magic eraser takes it right off. And then after you're done with the magic eraser, make sure you just take a damp paper towel and wipe off, the chemical or whatever, and good to go.
Okay, awesome. See, I love all the tips that my buddies and my viewers come up with. All right, good. Bonjour to Nadine Logan. Why don't you all come to see me in the south of France? It's been between 25 and 28 degrees Celsius since June.
Oh,
which
nice.
I could live with that. That's about that's like like 78 to like 85, I think it is Fahrenheit, if my memory is correct. I'm usually pretty good of converting to metric because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can read French. I can listen to a little bit of it, by my speaking is absolutely horrible. But I am actually in the process of trying to learn French very, very slowly. So within my day job, I work with Canadian customers, mostly in Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, but I do get quite a few from Quebec as well. And I think it'd be fun one day to be able to talk to them in French, but that's still a long ways off. I'm definitely a much better reader of the language than I am a listener or a speaker.
I agree with you. I took French in high school, and I can read some of it, a good majority of it actually, and I can write a little bit, but I definitely could not, I would not dare speak it to a French person. They would be like, what language are you talking?
They'd probably admire you for at least trying, you know, like it's always funny, like at work we have an office in France, and every time I email them, like I write to them in English because that's what we're supposed to do, and I'm not going to, you know, try and go too far into it, but I always greet, you know, I always say bonjour or, you know, bonsoir or whatever, you know, whatever time of the day it is. And I always finish off with, you know, merci beaucoup, bonne journée. And I'm probably butchering it, Nadine, and I'm sorry. It's my Australian accent and my lack of knowledge. You know, so it's basically hello and then thank you very much, have a great day. And they tend to answer me a lot quicker than they do with my colleague who does it all in English. I'm like, I've tried telling her, like, just, you know, write a little French. You know?
Yeah. I was going to say, anytime I get an email from Nadine, I appreciate it because she does put a few of those kind of words in there. So it makes me start thinking about French again. So
yeah,
I like that.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've chatted with her like on a, was it one of Stephen's solo long days? I think it might have been.
Yeah. Yeah. She usually comes to Stephen's so days.
Yep. Okay. So it's the same lady. Okay. That's what I thought. So that makes sense. Laura Lynn is here with us this morning.
Oh, hey, Laura Lynn. How you doing?
Yeah, it's good to see her. She pops in from time to time, and it's always fun to see Laura Lynn. And if you don't know who she is, that she is half of the face behind Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. And she has a live every Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Atlantic, noon in Central, and 11 Mountain, 10 Pacific. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. See, look at me being smart. And if you're in the UK, 6 p.m. and mainland Europe, France will be 7. So if you want something else to, and she's always a hoot, like she's always got the some fun projects going on. I don't get to watch her very often because I'm usually out running around doing errands on a Saturday afternoon, but I do enjoy seeing Laura Lynn whenever I can.
Yeah, she's such a sweet lady, and
for
thankfully,
sure,
you know, doing better after her health scares and stuff. So yeah, I get excited to watch her, and I don't know how she does those 12-hour lives. I give her so much credit. That's a long day.
Oh, for sure. Like I think the longest live I've done was like 3 or 4 hours, and it was with you actually.
Yeah.
We were all trying to get a quilt done in a day, and that was the day that Finley and Coppy decided to hop through the fence and run away.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We're in the middle of a live, and the front doorbell rings for anyone who doesn't know, and it's our neighbors from like 3 houses down. And I'm looking, they got a couple of dogs with them, and I'm looking at them like, that looks like Copper. They got a dog like Copper, and I look down, I'm like, oh, there's Finley. I'm like, what are you doing out here?
They were escape artists that day. They didn't want Dad to be sewing, so they decided to be naughty.
Yeah, they knocked one of the fence panelings down and went to the next door neighbor's yard, and they keep their gate open, so they went into like the little grass alleyway between the houses, and I think they got scared that they weren't supposed to be out there, and they found the neighbors and they just followed them home. So yeah,
well, but they were okay, you know.
they were. Yeah, we are very blessed that nothing bad happened to them. And now I go out and do perimeter checks pretty much every day to make sure that none of the other fence palings go down. So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah. So who let the dogs out? Yeah, that was the fence. I blame the fence.
That's funny.
All right. So here is the question to the free world: is did I do this right? Yes. 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 Correct. Oh, look at that. I've completed my block without
Woohoo!
having
No,
to pull out without having
the
to pull out my
friend.
friend.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So for this month, this is clue 7. And if you're doing the small, you actually got to make 2 of these, but I only make 1 on a live because I will make the other one later on as my time lapse. That's how I do both.
Oh, cool.
Plus, it takes less time to do 1 on a live than it does 2.
Yeah.
So there you go. Laura Lynn says, "Woot, stunning color combo." I love this color combo. I mean, I think that the lavender is going to turn out so beautifully. I'm super excited to be able to see how it turns out at the very, very end in a couple of months.
So can you
So
hold it up again so I can see it?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so yeah, very different from this month's large. So here's one of the large pieces.
Hmm.
So, and then there's 2 of these and then 2 of these.
Oh, wow, that is different.
Yeah. So getting there though.
Yeah. Now it's gonna be a lot of fun seeing the final reveal, which is like, was it end of October? I think it is.
Well, this is 7, right? So
Yeah.
8, 9, so November.
November. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it too. I always wanted to do a black and white quilt. I've never done one before. So when this colorway came up, I was really excited about it. And I got the large and I got the extra borders to make it. Hopefully it'll fit on our bed. So I can't wait to see what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see this. This will be my second one that I've worked on. I did the Benet, was so sweet last year. I did not do Piazza. I did take a break. And then I'm doing it. So this is my first time doing 2 at once with Carnival and Village Green. So that'll keep you busy as well. So, okay. Pam says, "LOL, Sean, try having kids to deal with on top of your projects." That's why I have exchange students and the teenagers that can kind of look after themselves. That's done on purpose. So, which is
Oh
nice.
yeah. When does your new exchange student come over?
Next
Oh
weekend.
wow, how exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, he'll be in next week because I won't have a live next week. I will have a premiere. I've got an interview that I'm recording this weekend with a couple of fun guys. So I will have something to show next week, but I will be traveling to go pick up our student next week. So that's super exciting. He actually emailed us this morning and said that his visa was approved. So that was like the last little hurdle. It's usually just a formality, like, but they have to go to the embassy. They have to get their student visa approved and that sort of thing there. And this was, it was kind of getting close because that was the earliest like he could get an appointment at the embassy.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've had that issue in the past, like, especially since COVID hit, it's getting later and later. So
when do your school start there? Is he going to get here in time for the start of school?
yes. Yeah. We don't start here in this part of Virginia until the day after Labor Day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like up your way and that sort of thing there, some of the kids are already back in. So I mean, we're part of a group of like different host parents and that sort of thing. And like we're seeing all the kids filtering in like Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, that sort of area there.
Oh, okay. Because our schools aren't back in here. Most of them start either right before Labor Day or right after. Our kids obviously are homeschooled, so we can start whenever, but they're going to start the day after Labor Day. But like when I lived in Arizona, they start like August 5th.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange to have kids like go to school that early.
Yeah, like my Amanda's sister and her kids are down in South Carolina, almost in Georgia, and they're already back in school. I think they started this week.
Okay.
So similar to what you're talking about in Arizona.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting how different it is. Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat real quick because now that I've finished this, I'm going to go ahead and work on my one of my mini t-shirt quilts.
Oh, how many of those do you have going?
3.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Are these
So
for other folks or for something for yourself and your family or?
no, these are all for different people I know. So one's for a co-worker, and then the other 2 are for a brother-sister combo for someone that we know. So I do have one for our bed, which I need to add some more shirts to, and that's going to be a king size. And I am not looking forward to quilting that puppy, but I will do it.
Yeah, that will be, it'll be heavy for any, Yeah.
Yeah. There'll probably be a lot of swearing and cursing while that's going on. I will not lie to anybody, but it's kind of been put to the back burner for quite some time because when I started, it was when Finley was very, very little, and she liked to chew, soothe by chewing. And I mean, she chewed holes in our sheets, she chewed holes in everything. I'm like, I'm not putting a quilt together for her to put holes in. So
yeah.
Now that she's a little older, I think we're safe to start doing that as well.
Yeah.
Pam says it was 24 degrees Celsius in Brisbane today. That's about 78. So that's a nice temperature.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's winter time there. So
so that's pretty high for
yeah, that part of the world's about right, I think. So all right. Mona says the shop is there. There's no products in it at the moment. Is that correct?
In my shop?
Yeah. You might want to go take a look at that later.
No, there's lots. Maybe she's not in the right shop. It's definitely full of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, maybe she got the wrong one. So there we go. Okay, what else? They're talking about a shop. Tamara's talking about a shop hop. I think that's up in Ohio. I think that's the one.
Yeah,
so there's so many nice people.
Yeah, there's a big shop hop going on in Ohio where they give you like a passport. Well, you don't give it to you. You have to buy the magazine, but you get a passport and you can go. There's different. Ohio is very big. People don't realize how large Ohio is, but they have different regions because it's so big. So they have Northwest, East, Northeast, all those kind of things. And I can't remember. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to say this wrong, but I want to say it's like 70 or 80 shops are participating. And so you go all around Ohio, get stamps, and if you fill up your thing, you send it in and you could win a prize potentially. But I got the magazine with the intention of maybe trying to do it. But some of the folks, it just started August 1st, and some folks are just about done with going to every single shop. And I was like, I don't know how you did this already. But I will never be able to do all of them because I just have too much going on the next few months. There's no way I could travel. You'd have to travel several weekends in a row and just go to quilt shops. So,
well, yeah, we don't really have much like that down here. I think there was, I don't know even if they still do it. I just don't go to my quilt shop very often because it's a hike. Like I have to go, I think it's like 45 minutes one way, even though it's like 20 miles from here. It takes a while to get there because, you have to go through the tunnel, give the toll people some money. And then it's a lot of side streets and stuff to get there. So I know they used to have a shop hop. I think it was like 6 or 7, but you had to drive around all over like Southeast Virginia to get to them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they had a passport, but they had these little, they look like license plate panels where you can get the ones from each shop and make it in.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's cool.
Yeah, they had that. And then I think there was like a little quilt kit you could buy. It was like 10 or 15 bucks. And it was like just a little, maybe 15 by 10 inch panel, like not panel, but you could put stuff together. It's like the one near the beach had like seashells and sand and that sort of thing there. It might have been, I don't know if it was, I'm guessing it was applique, but I'm not 100% sure. But I haven't seen that in the last few years. So that might have gone by the wayside too.
Hmm. Okay, so these both all completely done. So there's 2 of these. And then there's 2 of these, which I've already shown this one, but I've got all 4 of them done now. So,
they look great.
2. Yeah, if you're doing the large this month of Village Green, there's 2 different pieces, and so you'll have 4 blocks altogether.
Nice.
Yeah. I always love to like kind of sort of try to guess what they're going to be. And if I turn this one this way, it sort of looks like a house.
And the bow tie. I keep seeing the
Yeah.
bow tie.
Yeah. So it's kind of cute. I can't wait to see what it's going to be. I never guessed correctly. I know that I think they said out of all the years that they've been doing it, they've only had one person guess something.
Yeah, that's what Kim was telling me when I had her on here a few months ago. Is that only the one person's figured it out, and
Yeah.
I mean I can sometimes pick out certain parts or like where it's going to be. Like the long parts are usually like the borders, but
Yeah.
as for guessing the entire thing,
I was
not
going
likely
to say
to.
with these rectangle pieces over here, it kind of looks like that could be part of a border, but you never know. Sometimes I think
Yeah.
that and then I get fooled and I'm like, oh. So yeah. A house with a bow tie. How fancy.
Yeah, I love that.
Right, Laura Lynn? Yep.
So in the chat, or if you're watching as the replay, let us know, what are you working on this weekend? I'd love to hear what everybody else is up to, because I'm working on a t-shirt quilt. I'll actually be basting a quilt later on that I'll show in tomorrow's podcast. It's a brand new project. I've actually done the quilt top already.
Very cool.
But I'm not going to spill the beans on that. You'll have to come back and watch that tomorrow. So
Well, tonight is at 5 o'clock. I'm going live with the Village Green. So I'm probably going to be working on, unless it comes today, could come today in the mail. But if it doesn't, my second Village Green, I'll probably do the petting zoo, since I need to work on that one for Carnival instead. And then I'm going to be quilting all day. I finished my socialites quilt top,
nice.
and it's huge. It's 99 by 99. So I've got it laying over on the long arm right now. I need to get it on the leaders and start quilting this thing. And I just cut my 108 backing last night and have it draped over. I do that to try to get the wrinkles out so I don't have to iron it as much. So that's sitting there staring at me right now. So I got to quilt that today, or start working on that. It's probably going to take a couple days to quilt it because it's so darn big, but
I could just imagine doing it that big. I've always found my steam press is really good for pressing yardage like that. Anytime I have to do like backing or anything else like that, I usually fire up the steam press and stride them underneath that, because doing it with an iron can be a little cumbersome or time consuming.
yeah.
All right. Christine says she's making a University of Florida laptop sleeve for my son's friend who is studying in a couple of weeks. That'd be a fun project. Mom and Pop said Laura Lynn is working on the Woo's warmth of our. Thank you for telling me what it is. I appreciate that. Warmth of our stars. It's quite pretty. Is that what you'll be working on during your live today?
Probably. That is such a gorgeous. That's going to be gorgeous.
I'll have to go check that out because I have no idea what that is, but I'll soon find out.
Yeah.
Mona's she said she's made 4 car trash bags for my car. Only one has trash. Mary Jo says I'm shop hopping, crochet some socks, and working on some bindings this weekend. That'll keep you busy.
Nice.
I did go shopping on Tuesday and bought some fabric for the project I was telling you about earlier. And because originally I went to Joanne to see if I could find what I was looking for. And I mean, I don't know if it's all Joanne's or just that one, but I mean, it looked like it was getting ready to close down because like I had like next to nothing in there.
Oh.
I don't know. And so I was just like, okay, well, I didn't want to have to drive the extra distance to another quilt shop, but my hands are tied. So
yeah,
I went to another one, and they had pretty much what I was looking for, which was really nice. So it ended up working out really nice. And it's been one I've wanted to go to for a while. I've never been there, and I was really, really happy with it. So it will not be my first and only visit.
Yeah, we're like you, where our closest quilt shop is quite a distance. There was 2 right here pretty close to me within 5-10 minutes, but they both closed down during the pandemic. And so the nearest one now is almost an hour away. So yeah, so I don't go quilt shopping very much. I'm one of those people that has to order a lot of stuff online because it's just so far to drive.
Yeah. I just make it worth it. Like I make a list like, okay, well, I need this, and this. And then, it's always a fair chunk of change when I go, but I just make it worth it. Plus, I got to pay the tunnel toll both ways, which is, almost $5. So
Oh yeah.
I make it worth it. And sometimes, like, it's not far from my office. So sometimes I'll stop on the way home from work.
Okay, that's good.
If I'm not carpooling that day, it just all depends.
Yeah.
Because I don't think my carpool buddies would be real interested in going to the quilt shop after work.
Oh, come on. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, if I said it's okay, I'm, buying stuff for you, for me to make, that
You
might
might
be,
be okay with it. Yeah.
yeah.
The latest thing
probably,
I have to work on is this is going to be for my son because he wanted this. He loves animals. He picked this out, this Fab Farm Elizabeth Hartman.
I want to do that one. That's such a fun pattern. That's on my that's on my short list of ones that I want to do. So
I don't know when I think I'm going to have time to do this, but
yeah,
that's probably the next thing I'm going to work on. So,
but you see, I'm like with that one, like it's something I want to do sometime in the near future, because I wanted to finish some stuff before I even started tackling that. That one's been a lot of one I want to do, and I'm thinking I'm just going to try and pull from my scraps wherever I can.
oh, nice, yeah.
Because you don't do a lot of scrappy projects, if I remember correctly, or has that changed?
No, I don't. First of all, yeah, I'm not a scrappy quilter, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being a scrappy quilter. I think it's great. My brain has a really hard time. I have a really hard time wrapping my head around this stuff doesn't match. So how can I put it together and make it look pretty, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I've tried, and my brain throws up like these red stop signs, like don't sew that together. Now, that being said, I love scrappy quilts because I've quilted a lot of scrappy quilts that people have sent me, and I think they're beautiful. It's just something with me that I can't do it. And so, I typically just donate my scraps because it doesn't work for me. Plus, usually too, when I finish a project, I am like done with that fabric. And because I'm unlike you, I mean, I know you do a lot of solids, which I think is great. Actually, I kind of wish that I would have started and just did solids, because then I probably would like keep them, because you're going to use solids over and over again. But I do a lot of print lines, and once I'm done making a whole quilt, I'm like, I don't want to see this fabric ever again.
Yeah.
So,
and I do think it's
all
easier.
That time, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's so much easier. I'm with the solids, because if I see a thing, and I'm going to make it out of solids, I'm like, okay, is this brown go to work? More than likely, yes. Is this purple? Yes. Blue, so I can shop my stash a whole lot. If it was like prints, yes, it would be so much harder. Like the one I'm doing to dogs, I mean, that one works because it doesn't matter what you throw in there. Otherwise, I think it is kind of challenging to make it match. So I definitely get that. But you do you. Like, some people love scrappy and excel at it, and some do better at other stuff. And I mean,
yeah. Well, like I said, I love scrappy quilts. I've seen so many gorgeous ones, and I think, man, I wish I could do that, because I really do love them. My brain just doesn't allow it.
That's fine. And I mean, really, I've said this a million times, but I really do feel this is our craft time. This is our fun time. So do what makes you happy. If that's scrappy quilts, make scrappy quilts. If it's not scrappy quilts, then don't do scrappy quilts.
Well, and that's what I think too. Like, I've had people say, oh, you can do it, or why don't you show this on your channel, or show that, like applique or this or that. And I was like, because I don't enjoy those things. We have a finite amount of time, right? Per day, per week, for our lives. And, I've got a pile of projects that I know I definitely 100% want to do. So why would I do things that I don't like and don't enjoy? And just because I say like I don't like I remember at Christmas time when I got all those boutiques and I had yellow for like 4 or 5 days in a row or something. And I was like, oh man, yellow. And people were like, oh, she hates yellow. I don't hate yellow. I just got so many in a row and I wanted variety. But it's the same thing with projects. Like I don't hate applique. I don't hate scrappy. It's just those things aren't the things that bring me the most joy. And there's other things
Right.
that do. So I want to spend my time doing the things that, make me the happiest because you only get so much time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
okay, so what does it say on my t-shirt? It says, if you see a seam ripper, now is not a good time.
Like,
I believe that was a gift from my wife for Christmas because
Right.
yeah, she knows if I'm calling for Jack or she sees the seam ripper, that is not a good time to be asking me questions or anything else like that. So yeah,
Isn't that
it's
funny how our spouses learn that too? Because my husband will come down here and he'll be like, you're seam ripping. He's like, okay, I'll talk to you later.
yeah. Well, it's like with her, like she knits, and if I hear her counting, she's counting her stitches. That is not a good time, yeah, because you're trying to concentrate. Math is not her strong suit.
Yeah.
So if she's trying to count, I leave her be, so that way she can concentrate on it because you don't want to mess up that. Like, if you're trying to stitch on 120 stitches and you do 118 and you have to undo all that, that's a lot of work.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah,
it's you
rough.
do learn.
Yeah.
So all right, Kathleen says she's got to go to listen mode, go to wobble around the house, stretch, and work out this new titanium part. Okay, well, hopefully that works out for you. Mary Jo says she only has one shop close by, all the others are at least an hour away. So yeah, it seems to be more and more common where you either live very, very close to a quilt shop or you live far, far away. There's no like real happy medium.
Yeah.
So good morning to KD Cross. It's good to see you as well, sweet granny. I don't know if you were here earlier or not, and if I missed you, I'm sorry. Good morning to Anita. She may have already left, but it's good to see you as well. Bettina is here. It's good to see her. Did I miss anybody else? I think I said good morning to Christine. Christine's my buddy. She's the one that showed me the goodness of Art East Quilt Company.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she found the mythical Dachshunds for me. She's like, because Dachshunds are my favorite breed of dog, and she's found that pattern one day, and she's like, Sean, you really need to do this. And I saw the pattern, and I just hit the buy button. I was like, I'll figure out the fabrics later on.
And they're the ones with the Wizard of Oz quilt too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one, like you were talking earlier about putting something into a show, just to see it hanging. That is my intention. I will not get it finished in time for the state fair this year.
Yeah.
Just not going to happen. I'm going to struggle to get the one that I'm working on, which I'm not going to show pretty much anyone until it's closer to being done, as I want to keep a surprise. But I do want to enter it into the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Show next year. Now, that is a national competition. I have no expectation of a ribbon there, just because the caliber of the competition there would be so high. Like, it'll be an absolute miracle. But I want to see it hang up, and I want people to see it. So, I mean, I figure I'm just going to get it quilted to the best of my ability. I'll hang it up there, and it'll just look pretty, and people can see it. So that's my plan. Hopefully it'll happen. If it doesn't happen next year, it'll happen in 2025 or 2037, or we won't make any promises, but that's the intention, at least.
2037.
Well,
you'll get it done before then. I know you will.
I don't know. I mean, I've been working on this painting this ceramic plate that I've wanted to enter in a state fair for the last 11 years, and it's still not done. Now, if I hadn't started quilting
quilt, though, you have all of us going, Sean, are you finished with that quilt?
Yeah, so that'll be the saving grace. All right, now where did stuff laying around? I'm missing something.
Yeah, I
there it is.
There's a quilt pattern from Art East that I really want to do. So we'll see how that goes. I would like to do this one called Going Coastal.
Oh, that one's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a mermaid and a fisherman and stuff like that. So I already have all my fabric picked out for it. This is all my fabric.
Oh, that'll
Um,
be fun. Yeah, that'll look great, that project.
it's all grunge and I love it, but it's just finding the time to fit it in. So
Yeah, because it's a
yeah.
lot of, I love John and Matt's designs from Art
Mhm.
East, but it's a lot of cutting. Like if they
It
could
is.
figure out how to sell pre-cut fabric like Cotton Cuts does, that would be my new best friends.
Yeah, I remember when Stephen was doing the cat scratch, he was talking about all the cutting, but I kind of like was paying attention and seeing what he was cutting. It's really not, I've already done an Elizabeth Hartman and it was pretty similar to the cutting you did for that. So I was like, yeah, it's, since I've already done that, I don't think I'll be shocked by the cutting.
Yeah, I remember when I did the koala quilt last year, and each of those blocks were, I think there was like 72 or 75 pieces. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's a lot. And then I did the block for the Wizard of Oz, the center part with the Emerald City, and it says no place like home. I think that block, I mean, it's a huge block, mind you, but it had like 240 some pieces.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it took me hours to cut it out, but I'm one of those people when I'm cutting, I take my time with it because I only want to do it once.
Right. Right.
I put on a good movie or a TV show I haven't, I've watched many times before, so I don't really have to concentrate on it or watch, some replays of lives and that sort of thing for my friends. And I just take my time with it. It might take me 4 or 5 hours to cut out one of those blocks, but
Yeah.
I'd rather just take my time with it and not stress over it.
Oh yeah. And those are the quilts that you really, when you finish, you really appreciate and you like there's certain quilts I'm like, I can give away, but those ones you don't give away.
No, they um
Unless they're for a family member. Like I know you made that one for your nephew, right?
the koala quilt, yes, that's
Yeah.
going to go to my nephew. The mythical darkstones will probably find itself a new home. Because that was kind of the intention. I'm not going to say where it's going, just in case on the off chance the person that's going to get it is watching or watches at some point. But the Wizard of Oz will, I think it'll stay here or, go to the quilt show in 2037.
Or 2024.
Or 2020. Yeah, we'll see. I just have to make sure you'll have to keep me accountable on that one.
Yes. Oh, I will. Don't you worry. I know
Good.
did you finish that other little piece that you were doing for this year? For the little
No, that's still a work in progress. I did need to pause that, and get another project done first.
Gotcha.
You'll see that tomorrow.
Cool. That was looking really good.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. It's not, I know you and I've talked about a little bit, the quilting on that is different to what part of it is different to what I originally envisioned, but what I'm doing now is actually better. I had to pull out my mate Jack for that because I did like one section that I wanted to quilt a certain way. And even though I was using my BSR Benina stitch regulator, it looked horrible. Like it was not doing what it was supposed to do. And I was like, okay, this is not meant to be. So probably took me like 30 minutes to rip out that one little section, but it looks so much better now with what I did. So
Good. Yeah, you definitely have to be happy with it. I mean, if you're not happy with it, then you gotta rip it
yeah,
out.
yeah, absolutely. And I was like, it's not going to look good. It's not going to be judged favorably. I just need to rip it out and try again and make it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary Jo says the stripology ruler makes cutting out the large amount of pieces pretty quick. That is true. I need to get a stripology ruler one day. Only issue with the Art East ones is each piece, there's so many different sizes.
Yeah.
It's not like you cut out one strip and then you cut, 10, 2.5 by 4, for instance. It's like cut out one of these, two of those, one of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so many different sizes. And
Yep.
but it's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge and I love how it all comes together. So to me, yes, it's going to take a while to cut, but for me, it's worth it. But that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Kathleen says she has a brand new hip. Okay, I figured it was a new part. I didn't know if it was going to be a hip or a knee. So yeah, hopefully it works out well. Kathleen says she loves the Doxies. Yeah, if you ever find a good Dachshund quilt pattern, send it my way, and it'll probably get thrown into the rotation pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm doing the one of the scrappy thing. I can never remember the name of it. Someone sent me a FPP project, but it looks like a hot dog with the Dachshund. Is that nearby? It's floating around here somewhere, but it looks like a little. It was out of a magazine, and yeah, it looks like a Dachshund inside a hot dog. And I was like, "This is an FPP project I need to start really, really soon." So,
no, see, but that's something that you could be like, "Oh, this is just for fun because it's so cute," you know.
Well, and it's small. It's like a wall hanging. I think it's like 18 by 22 or something like that. So it's not super big. I just have to go copy the pages because it's supposed to be at 200%. Plus, I'm probably going to make mistakes because FPP is not my one that I have a lot of experience in.
Yeah.
But, it'll be a fun project, and I'm super excited they sent it to me. So,
and you have a lot of friends that know how to FPP. So if you need help.
Oh, for sure. I know the basics. I just need to get more, more experience. But I'm a traditional piecer. I love seeing FPP. I love the way it looks, but it's not my calling. There's certain projects that I would like to do, like Toasty the Dragon is still in the works. He's going to be a 2024 project. I just don't know that because I still have to buy the fabric. But yeah, I love seeing the stuff that you're doing. I love seeing the stuff that Shannon's doing, and a lot of my other content creator friends are doing, and the viewers as well make some beautiful FPP projects. But I think at the end of the day, my heart goes to like the Elizabeth Hartman, the Art East. That is what I'm drawn towards. At what brings me the most joy once I cut it. So I think that's where I think that's where you'll see the majority of my projects. But you like we talked about earlier, you do what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
And if that's FPP, do FPP. If it's doing something else, do that. So but yeah,
I'm like 90% traditional, and then I like FPP as well, but definitely usually tend to go more towards the traditional piecing. So
yeah. But I think your buddy Shannon's going to probably slowly drag you over into the FPP land.
I think she's more the opposite. Yeah, she's more FPP and some traditional, although she can do both amazingly well. I think she really, really loves FPP. So, yeah.
Yeah, Beth from Goody Goods keeps trying to get me to go over the FPP wagon, and I'm like, I'll do stuff from time to time, but I don't know. Yeah. Never say never. But
the thing I like about FPP is that you can create shapes that you could never do traditionally.
Right.
So for that, I like it. But things like I've, worked with other people that were like, they were making a friendship star out of FPP. And I'm like, why? So that's so much easier. Just whip it up traditionally piece. I can whip one of those up in, a few minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was something like I did the, what was it called? That really bright one. I can't remember now. Last year was it was like a big, colorful thing. Name escapes me. But at the top, like with the star at the top, it was all these tiny little pieces of triangles, and it was showing you had to do it FPP. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, why do I have to do it FPP? Why can't I just cut these out and do it traditionally? And so I'm looking at tutorials, because the instructions, I couldn't understand it. And so I went on looking for tutorials on it, and I actually found a tutorial from none other than Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and she did it traditionally. I was like, you're my new hero. Like, I don't know if she realizes this.
Yeah.
But I saw her doing it traditionally. I'm like, okay, so I can do it this way. Like, I was like, okay, well, and I looked at the one I did FPP and the one that looked traditional. It was both basically the same. So I was like, okay, it can be done. And so that I just did the other 7 like that. I was like, okay, I'm just sticking with what I know. So thank you, Laura Lynn, for that. If you haven't, I just can't remember the name of the pattern now. It'll come to me later on. So there you go. So Judy Herbert is here. Good morning. It's good to see you as well. Tamara says she's working on cut and cut with Stephanie after sorting out my shopping haul. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check out Stephanie's channel later on at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's always a lot of fun. I try and catch it when I can, but it's usually when I'm making my dinner. So I get to catch like the first little bit, and then I usually have to wander off and make sure the family is fed. So all right, but I think with that, I think we'll probably go and wrap things up because I have finished my project. For anyone that came in late, I did clue 7 of the Lavender by Village Green Puzzle Mystery Quilt by Cotton Cuts. I'll get the name of it right eventually.
So pretty. So pretty.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's my small.
I think that one is for Amanda because you said she likes those colors.
No, I offered it to her, but what I wanted, she has enough quilts really, and plus she's getting the Wizard of Oz. My plan, I don't know if I've actually mentioned this a whole lot, but my plan for this is because, you know, I'm an ambassador, I got gifted provided the, or gifted, whatever you want to call it, all the fabric for free and everything else. I want to donate this. And what I'd like to do with it is donate it to one of the local women's shelters. I figured I think it'd be really nice for a lady that's probably gone through one of the worst experiences of her life to be able to cuddle up underneath a quilt. So that's kind of my goal for all the, if Cotton Cuts chooses to keep me on an ambassador in future projects, I'd like to pick different organizations to donate the quilts to. So that's the plan for this one. Like, as pretty as it is, and as much as I would like to keep it in the house, I can only keep it so many quilts in the house, and I think this would be much better served with someone that could really, really use it. So that is my plan for that one once it's all done.
Oh, that's really kind of you.
Oh, not a problem.
The lavender, and this is the tulip. So you had the small, I have the large. So that's our screen for month 7.
Yes, I know. I'm all caught up now. Like, I think it's great. And then all my friends doing lavender should be getting their clues 6 and 7 very soon, or if they haven't got it already. So you'll be able to catch up on 6, which was I found to be fairly easy. I didn't notice any real big problems with that one now. And if you need help, there will be, I did the time lapse on that, released it, I think last week. So you can check that out if you need a little guidance on the small, and it's a little different on the large. And then it's clue 7 you saw today as well. Mary Jo says, can you ever have enough quilt? I don't think so. I agree with that, but yes, some of them do need to leave the house, and I'm always a big proponent of, I want my quilts to be used and loved. And I don't know if I've told this story before, but I made a quilt for one of my co-workers 2 years ago because him and his wife had their first baby. And it was a custom quilt. It was I made it in pink and gray because that was the nursery colors. And then I put a little train in the middle, like a circus train. It had like the Canadian National Railroad engine in their colors because that's the ones that we work with at our day job. And then I put like 3 little things behind it with a giraffe, a camel, and an owl, because I think that was the animals they were using in the nursery. And it was a gift from all of us in the department. My co-workers chipped in for materials and that sort of thing there. And he came to me like a week or 2 ago, and he's like, thank you so much for that quilt. Every time my daughter goes to daycare, they have to take a blanket with them. He called it a blanket, it's a quilt, but I don't correct people. I got bigger fish to fry. And he's like, she always wants that train quilt, the train blanket. And I was like, that makes me so happy. Like, I love seeing my quilts get used. I told him, I said, look, if she wears it out, I'll make you another one. Like, I have no problem. Like, that just made me so happy that it's actually being used. Like, that's all I ever want. Wear it out. I'll happily make you another one. So there you go. Rhonda C says she's joining in late. Can you give details on the Wizard of Oz? Absolutely. The Wizard of Oz is a 10-month sew along that started last September. It has finished, but you can buy the pattern from the Art East Quilt Company website. And it has 9 different blocks. So it's a 9-month project, not 10. Where am I getting 10 from? Oh, that's because I'm always behind. But it's a beautiful project. You can go and see, with my podcast, you'll see some of the different blocks, but I mean, it was Dorothy, the blocks, it's Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, what's the other one? The Lion? Yeah.
The lion. Yeah.
There's like a big Emerald City block with the balloon, and it says "No Place Like Home." Glinda the Good Witch, the Wicked Witch, Toto, and the Winged Monkey, which I still have to make.
Yeah.
And so it's been an absolutely fun project. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've done some time lapses of the last couple of blocks that I made. I didn't do them for the first 5 or 6, and I wish I had, but you know, too late now. But yeah, I don't know if I have a link for that. I can throw a link in real quick. Hang on a second.
Now, are you planning on doing their next one, which is the Alice in Wonderland one?
I bought the quilt kit.
Did you? Okay.
The moment it went on sale, like, because normally I like to pull from, like I've talked about, I like to pull from Stash, and that sort of thing there. But when he showed us that it was all Tula products, like all Tula fabrics, I've never worked with her products before. I've been looking for an excuse to do it. And so I just kind of figured that like all the stars were aligning. And so, because when I went out and bought the fabrics for the Wizard of Oz, it was all Kona solids, and my local quilt shop has all of them.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, which made it easy. So I mean, I went there, but I think I spent like an hour and a half pulling all the different fabrics. And I was like, if I try and do this with Tula, my local quilt shop doesn't have a big range. I'd probably have to go shopping online for like several stores, and by the time I paid shipping and everything else, it's going to be an absolute pain in the tails. So
Yeah.
okay, hang on. Go. I'm just getting a link for the Wizard of Oz.
Well, that one should be fun.
I'm really looking forward to it, and I talked my buddy Shannon into buying the kit as well. So she's going to do that, and I think she's doing another FPP project based on Alice in Wonderland at the same time. There's another creator out there that's doing that. So she tried talking.
She talked me into that one, the FPP.
She did. She tried talking me into it, but I was like, A, I have too much going on, and B, I just don't have the confidence to do it right now. I'm going to watch you guys do it, and I'm sure this will be a pattern I can do at a later stage. So, you know, that'll be a lot of fun to see you two doing that, but I think I'm going to live vicariously through the two of you on that one there. So I did put the link to the pattern for the Wizard of Oz if anyone's interested. It's 55 Canadian dollars for the pattern, which seems like a lot, but it's such an intricate pattern. But you also remember that the Canadian dollar is only worth like 75 US cents. So it ends up being like 30, like maybe 38, 39 American dollars. By the time you're said and done, it's a PDF file, which I love. I love PDFs because I can just put it up on my screen, and if I want to make it a bit bigger or a bit smaller, I can. But, you know, I know a lot of people like traditional patterns, so you can also print it out. But the whole thing, I think you'll find, is about, I think it's like 12 pages per block. So it's going to be a lot of pages to print out. There's also a printed, there's also, I think there's a printed version that you can get at additional cost as well if you're so interested. So yeah, it's a fun project if you're interested at all. So there we go.
The other thing you can do if you buy digital patterns is you can always put them on a memory stick, and if you find that you need a printed copy, you can take it to like an office store by you, and they'll print color copies for you. So
yeah, I print, like, normally with that one, what I did is I printed the fabric cutting instructions. I printed that page out because there are so many different sizes. I was like, I can't do this and keep track of it all. So I print that, it's page 4 on each block. I print that one out so I can check it off, but then I just read but like you said, yeah, you can either put it on a memory stick or, like, I think like Office Depot, Office Max, and that, and probably UPS, FedEx stores and that sort of thing there. I think you can just drag and drop the file and do it electronically and just go pick it up.
Yeah, you can. I've done that before too at the UPS store for sure. So, yep. Lots of different ways to get it.
Yeah, Kathleen says, I think high price patterns might be a thing. I saw Laurie Holt's seed patterns for one quilt, $75. Yeah, I think they are going to get, yeah, but I mean, with this one particularly, like the amount of work that John had put into writing this thing there, I think it's worth every penny. Because I mean, each of the 9 blocks is a lot of work. And so Yeah.
Well, I think the one she's talking about, and it depends on which one you're doing, because she's got several quilt seeds patterns, but they're similar to this. So each block comes in this packet, this little,
Oh, okay.
so that's why they're so expensive, because they're all in these little, fancy things. But yeah, patterns have definitely gotten more expensive. And I think part of it is that pattern designers have finally realized that they do have some value, and they should start maybe collecting some of that value for their work, because put a lot of work into an average like throw size quilt in 2-3 days, 8-10 hours a day working on the pattern to get it. And it's a lot of work.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, I'm just dabbling in trying to write patterns myself, and I'm like, this is a lot of work. Like,
yeah.
really, at the end of the day, it's do you find value in it? Like, if you look at a pattern and go, okay, well, it's $25, for instance, and I don't see the value in this, then don't get it.
Right.
But yeah, there are some patterns where I do see the value. Like, I looked at the $55 Canadian dollars for the Wizard of Oz, and I was like, the amount of work that these guys went into to write it.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it
And
was
even
definitely
like these Elizabeth Hartman patterns. I mean, this thing is like a book, literally. And
yeah.
there's page after page after page of colors and print. I mean, and I think, I'm not sure how much it is for you guys, because obviously I buy things wholesale, but I think this is maybe a $25 pattern book, but not
Yeah,
too
the
much to get
PDF's
for that,
25.
Yeah. 25 for you?
Yeah, if you, I mean, I buy the PDF,
Okay. Yeah.
and I saw that was 25, because there's that one there, and there's another one that's like the same sort of thing there. But again, like for me personally, and everyone's different,
Yeah.
I find the value because, again, Elizabeth has done a lot of work on that, and she's a lovely lady. I've actually had the opportunity to correspond with her via email once or twice, and yeah, she's just a lovely lady. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I asked her once if I could, because people ask me like for tutorials on the koala quilt, and I was like, let me go check if I have permission. And I sent her a message, and she personally wrote back to me. It wasn't one of her staff or anything else like that. And she's like, unfortunately, no, I hold the exclusive copyright to that. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, this is why I asked before I got,
Yeah.
intellectual property right people coming after me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
she was like, yeah, if anyone has any questions, please just send them straight to me and I'll help them out personally. I was like, this is great. Like, like she's famous, and, she took the time to write back to me and say, hey, I know this is not the answer you're looking for, but, more than happy to help. So
that's awesome.
yeah. All right. Well, I know you have stuff to do today. So I'm not going to hold you up any longer, but thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for
Steph
having me.
Oh, not a problem. It's always fun to hang out with my mate Steph. So you'll have your live at 5 p.m. today, and then she'll have some more fun videos coming out. Do you have anything fun that you want to share with us, or?
Well, Monday is Fort Worth Fabric Studios. Laylee, she'll love the week 4. We have 2 more weeks left, so I'm really excited about that. That quilt is going to be gorgeous. It's all purple and green and goes together really well. And then I will have a UFO whip update video coming up this week, because a bunch of people have asked to see the quilts that I did put in the quilt show, and I get all of them. I have the ones from Columbus, and then I get all the ones back tomorrow that's in the local show. So I'll do a video. I'm not going to have a lot of sewing stuff to show, because like I said, a lot of it is stuff I can't show you guys yet. But I can show those quilts. So I'll do that. And so, yeah, that'll be coming up. Yeah.
That'd be fun. And then have you got your judges notes back yet, or?
I did, from Columbus, and that I feel like the judge was very, very fair with her comments. She was not. I've run into situations where I've had some very subjective judges, like the one with the ombre quilt that said excessive use of ombre. But I could tell she did everything from a very technical standpoint, which is what they should be doing, and I appreciate. And I got some really good comments, so I will share those too. And because I'm excited by what they said, and just a couple little things on some of the quilts that didn't get an award that I already knew about. And when I read it, she was like, and I'm like, yep, I already knew that. So I feel like she did a really good job. And so I will share those, because those were very good comments, very constructive criticism meant to help you become a better quilter. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed that with the notes that I got last year of mine as well, which was really nice. And I've been able to take that and work it into the one I'm trying for this year. So I'd be very interested to watch that video and hear your notes on that, because I always love seeing that sort of stuff there. Because, like you said, yeah, it's always good to get those notes so you know how to improve. Because sometimes when you go on these quilt shows, it's kind of like, unless you really know your stuff and know the rules, it's kind of like, you're going into this game where you don't know the rules. I mean, that's
and each quilt show is completely different. And I know I've talked about that, like on Stephen's retreat and stuff too. Each show has their own set of rules. Each show has different judges. And so it's interesting to see the process at each one and to get feedback at each one. But I feel like this judge came from a very neutral standpoint. She was very fair the way she judged, and, judged, like I said, more technically than, whether I like that fabric or not,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's excellent.
So,
all right. It's good morning, or good afternoon, I should say, to you, Laura. It's good to see you here as well. Kathleen's on her way out. But yeah, let's go ahead and say goodbye, because otherwise it's gonna be like my normal Southern goodbyes where we say goodbye for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, yeah.
But yeah, if you are watching the replay, I would love it if you leave a comment. Just say hi. I dropped by. It's always good to know who's here. Thank you, everybody that was here in the live chat. We had almost 80 people here today, which I think was
awesome. And I'm like Stephen, where I don't like to ask, but I don't mind asking for other people. Please support our friends. If you have not subscribed to Sean yet, please subscribe. You need to subscribe to him. He's done such a great job. I've watched Sean from the very beginning, when he first started, and just the growth in Sean, it's just been amazing to watch. And if I go back and look at mine, it's the same way, because you and I have a lot of the same personality. We're introverts, we're on the shyer side, but just to see you sort of blossom over this process. And I'm just I feel like a proud mama. Like I'm proud of you. And so please subscribe to Sean, because I know as creators, we have a hard time, especially people like us that have these personalities, asking people to subscribe. But I'm going to ask for him. Please subscribe to him if you have not yet.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I just it's helped me grow as a quilter. I've done a lot more stuff than I would have done myself. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. If you don't, I hope you find a channel that works for you. Stephanie's always a good option, along with all my other friends. But yeah, hitting that like button, I think, is one of those things, because you can only subscribe once to a channel, but you can always hit that like button, and every interaction that we have, whether it's a like or a comment and that sort of thing there, helps us out immensely with the algorithm with YouTube, because that's how they help determine, like, the watch time and that sort of thing there helps as well. But the likes and the interactions, which is, comments, likes, and that sort of thing there, also helps us get noticed and pushed out to new people as well. So that's why we always ask for likes. It's not because we want to see the like counter go up, but it does really, really help us out. So, if I miss saying good morning to anyone, I apologize. I get so distracted. I think Beverly is here. I don't know if I said good morning to her earlier or not, but yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces. But yeah, I mean, like you said, when I first started, I was so nervous, and I'm so much more comfortable now. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I mean, I was trying not to blush, but yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning with my podcast. I have some fun stuff to share with everybody. I'm really excited to share some of this stuff. Yeah, and then next week I will have a pre-recorded premiere. I don't know if I'm going to put it on at 8. I might actually put it on at 9 o'clock, let everyone sleep in, but I'll make that decision today. With a couple of fun quilters. We're going to have a nice interview that you'll be able to watch next week. So I'll be traveling for a little bit on next Saturday morning, so I won't be able to be, I might not be able to be in the chat. Will just depend on where we are. But that'll be a lot of fun as well. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, or if you're watching the replay, whenever you're watching it. I hope you all have a great day. Happy sewing, and I will see you all tomorrow morning, and definitely head over and see Stephanie later on today.
Thanks, Sean.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Hang on, wrong button. Okay, I'm going this time.